So first of all, thank you for coming along this evening. If you don't know me, my name's Cass, and I'm the Chair of Trustees of the Village Hall. So we're going to kick off the update. I have to come over here to press some buttons. It's the wrong button.
Do you want me to be the button presser?
Maybe you could press the buttons. That would be really helpful. I don't have to keep going back and forth.
That's more useless. Qualified?
Tonight we're going to hear from 7 different groups from within the village, so from the Village Hall, the Scouts, the Parish Council, the Playing Fields, St Olave's Church, the Reformed Church and the Community Larder. And so this is the first time we've tried an update involving so many of the village groups, so hopefully it will give you the opportunity to get updated from everybody in one go. And as I'm standing here at the front, I will kick off from the Village Hall perspective. No, he's not qualified. No. That's me. So starting with the Village Hall. So earlier this year, for those of you who don't know, the Village Hall was granted planning permission on the plans for a new hall. So the plans are available opposite the bar, and anyone of the trustees would be happy to talk you through them if you haven't seen them before. But the new plans include a hall with 35% more usable space than this current one. It would also hopefully be warmer, and it's set a little further back from the road and with more usable access to the green space at the back of the hall. Since the planning was granted earlier this year, it's been a very busy year for us. So we've been getting quotes from the builders, setting up a fundraising website. You'll see the QR code on the wall with the plans. We've had to pull together documents such as a business plan that we can help use with our grant applications, and we've continued to run events as well as continuing to run and manage the hall. So on the next slide, it shows a bit of a plan for 2024. 2024 is going to be even busier. So this image helps to show what we're planning over the next year and to get to a point where we can hopefully start building in 2025. So we currently have raised just short of £97,000, which is a massive achievement from the village and from the hall and from everything else. So that is a combination of money raised actually over a very long period of time, from events such as the quiz, which has been going on for a long time, plus the money that we get from Carla Homes from what's called Section 106 money. So they have to make payments to different groups within the village as part of their building work that they're doing. So the combination of the two things leaves us just short of £100,000. So we'd love to reach the £100,000 mark before the end of this year, and then focus next year on a lot of the grant funding and other things as well. So I'll come on to some events that we've got coming up before the end of the year. But on here you can see some other things that we're doing to reach that big old number at the other end, which is £600,000. So there's still a long way to go to get to that number.
Is it fair to say, Cash, you need to get at least half of that for much funding?
Well, we'll come on to how we're doing that along the way. But yes, we need to figure out the ways to get that, but it's not all just about fundraising in the community, for example. There's lots of different bits to that. So one of the things we are doing before Christmas is launching our Buy a Tile fundraising campaign, which is to allow people to buy tile, roof tile, as a gift to someone, or people to put it on their Christmas list, or whatever they want to do to get involved in having a part of the future Village Hall with their name on it. So when it comes to building it, you might be able to sign it before we put it on the roof. There's probably going to be a list of names on the wall somewhere once we build the Village Hall. So that's going to be launching in the next week or so. And then another really key part of the fundraising is going to be going out for what we call in-kind and sponsorship funders. So that might be someone sponsoring the purchase of flooring materials. It might be a kitchen company donating in kind the kitchen cabinets. It might be someone, one of the many bathroom suppliers in Bicester, providing the toilet systems and things like that. So those are the sorts of things which we can start accruing. They count as funding. when we go for match funding. So a lot of the grants will say, how much money have you got, we'll match it, but you can count in-kind and sponsorship as money that can then be matched. So that's why we want to make sure we start on that early. One of the challenges we're going to have around that is actually then storing things. Because if someone says, yes, we'll do that, here you go, have it now, we're then going to have to find somewhere to put it. So that will be one of the challenges that we've got as we go through this process. Then as we move through the year, we need to start writing our large grant application and then our smaller ones. So why then, and what's that about? So the point with a lot of the grants is they have conditions on them where they have to be spent within a certain amount of time of receiving them. So if we apply for them too early and we haven't raised enough money, then we run out of time and we haven't built anything, then it's null and void. So there's a careful bit of timing that goes on during next year. So you can see why we're sort of applying for the 2-year grants a bit earlier and we have to leave the 1-year grants later. So 1 year means it's only valid for 1 year after we get sort of given the money, as it were. So we have to be careful about how we do that. The grant application process is very involved, takes a lot of time from the volunteers that we've got. So we will also be looking for people who could help with that process. So anyone who's got experience of proofreading, anyone who's got experience of grant writing, all of those kind of things are going to come into play for us during next year as well. And so as we go through, we also have this bar across the bottom, which is ongoing fundraising events. So we've got all of those different types of fundraising going on through next year. We've got our regular events, but things like next year we're looking at maybe doing a fun run. We've got an evening with David Bradley. Those of you who know David Bradley quite often comes to the live night. He was the character Filch in Harry Potter. So looking at whether we can do a night where he hosts and we can sell tickets for that. So different things that will be going on during the year. The majority of the money will come from grant funding. So these are the big grants that we need to go for during the year. But as John said, there is an element of matching. So we have to have some money in order to get some money, which is why the 100,000 that we have nearly got is very important. And then we can add to that as well. So what else was I going to say? Yeah, so as we've got you here, we'd also like to share things you can do if you'd like to help. So certainly attending events at the hall is always something that helps us raise money. So last week we had a race night, which was the first time we'd done that. That was run by a member of the community who wanted to help raise money for the hall. It was a really good evening. It was attended by regular people. It would have been great to have a few more people there, but we like to see different people coming into the hall for the different events. Before Christmas we have still the regular pub night, which is the last Friday of every month. Again, we'd love to see more people come to those. We've got Christmas bingo, the Christmas quiz, and the village hall is also open on Christmas Day, kindly run by Mike and Eva Wheeler this year on Christmas Day, giving up their time to run the bar and have people come into the village hall on Christmas Day.
And there's a live night as well, Cass.
Oh, there's another live night, the 16th of December, is that right? So lots of things in the run up to Christmas, which we will hope helps us get over that 100,000 mark before the end of the year. But just, yeah, attending events is one of the things that's really helpful. But then also if you wanted to volunteer, we're always looking for people to help with, like I said, the project grant applications, events, ideas, posters, or anything that you feel like you've got to add to help us with this big challenge that we've got going on over the next year. Speak to any of the trustees, or you can always email info@Fritwell Village Hall, and that will get through to us. I think whilst we see this as a big number, we all believe this is really achievable. And so it would be great to be standing here in 6 months, 9 months' time saying, here's the plan for 2025. And that involves building a new hall. So hopefully that is where we will end up.